Hello everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from Politico. Now I said in an article that I put up yesterday that they were already setting the stage and sowing the seeds to push a Russia hack, Russian influence, Russia, spurg out narrative. Sure enough, we've got another piece to the puzzle here. U.S. brings first charge for meddling in 2018 midterm elections. We're not even up to the elections yet, and they have charges for meddling in the elections. How the fuck can you be charged with meddling in something that has not happened yet? Are we now doing fucking pre-crime? And what gets me is do you know what they're calling meddling? Fucking internet trolling. I shit you not on that. Tweets meant to troll people is now election meddling. Tweets meant to trigger and spurg out people is now election meddling. And on top of this, every fucking country tries to influence every other country's elections. Okay, the United States does it to its own allies. Our allies do it to us. Okay, our enemies do it to us. We do it to our enemies. This is a given. It's been going on for as long as there's free and open elections in any country. But so this is by Josh Gerstein. It was published on October 19th. This is just some really fucked up shit, in all honesty. Well, this is what... Once we get into this, you're going to see why I'm like this right now. Because this is some funny fucking shit. The Justice Department has brought its first criminal case over alleged Russian interference in the 2018 midterm elections. We're not even in the elections, but yet somehow they brought charges for interference in them. Eliana Kushayanova, I probably butchered that, 44, a St. Petersburg, Russia-based accountant, was charged in a criminal complaint with conspiracy to defraud the United States for taking part in a scheme to spend in excess of $10 million since the beginning of the year on targeted social media ads and web posting intended to sow division and discord in the U.S. political system. So basically, posting on social media, shit posting, to trigger people. To piss off both sides, to piss off everyone. Somehow this is meddling. If you're pissing off everyone, how the fuck are you meddling? That you're not interfering with the outcome. If you're literally triggering everyone on either side and in between, how the hell is that actually going to cause a desired outcome? People are going to go out and vote, and probably more people. Is that what you're afraid of? They trigger people, they have more people out to vote, and it's going to fuck with your little system? Kind of like what happened in 2016, even though there was no proof of any Russian bullshit, because all your proof was shit that happened after the fact, like there was no hacking, so you had to move on to interference and meddling and all that other shit. And when you came to interference, you had Facebook ads that were shown after the election. You're just afraid that they're going to stir up more people than you've already pissed off to go out and vote, and it's going to fuck up your shit even more. Kushayanova, who is not in U.S. custody, allegedly works for Concord, a Russian-based firm that Special Counsel Robert Mueller's office indicted in February for alleged interference in the 2016 election, with absolutely no fucking proof. I love this. The fucking Mueller indictment was so fucking thin that you could see through it on the note of Concord. No actual physical proof. The unsealing of the new charge Friday appears to signal that U.S. law enforcement is not letting up in its efforts to investigate, deter, and publicize alleged Russian interference in U.S. politics. Well, you got this boogeyman. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, every country interferes with every other country's elections. That's just a given. But now that they got this boogeyman and they can have all this manpower out there, of course they're going to do everything that they can to keep the shit rolling. The release was coordinated with a statement from President Donald Trump's top national security leaders warning about the foreign interference efforts from Russia, China, and Iran. I'm more worried about China and Iran, more so China. And you know what? The left, all they have is just Russia, Russia, Russia on their fucking brains. These ongoing campaigns seek to undermine confidence in democratic institutions and influence public sentiment and government policies, Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats and the heads of the FBI and Departments of Justice and Homeland Security said in a joint statement. Yes, but you see, Russia, it's fucking social media trolling. China is actually like shady fucking shit. Iran, shady fucking shit. I mean, they might be doing some trolling, but I'm telling you right now, China's the one we got to be worrying about. They added that the activities are an attempt to sway voter opinions and decisions about the upcoming election as well as ahead of the 2020 presidential vote. Well, here's the thing with this whole Russia thing. They are literally going online, or allegedly going online, and trolling the shit out of everyone. I don't see how that's interference when you're literally pissing off everyone. If you're pissing off one group to get them motivated, that's one thing. And I still wouldn't necessarily call that interference because it's fucking social media. Anyone can go on fucking social media. Who gives a fuck? If the person's so fucking stupid that they buy into the shit on social media, that's their own fucking problem. I don't blindly look into shit. I mean, I'll look and like when I go and I pick a story, I usually, depending on like the story, if it's something that I've seen corroborating stuff with, I don't necessarily, if I find the article I'm doing, I don't look for others just to confirm stuff. But if I'm doing an article that I find, I will do a little research before I go and do a video on it. Average people, before they buy into something hook, line, and fucking sinker, should be doing the same exact thing. And I don't even buy into shit hook, line, and sinker when I do stuff like that. I mean, I'll confirm facts, and if they're facts, that's one thing. But this idea of, well, they're interfering because people are just going to buy into their shit. You're basically saying Americans are fucking morons. I mean, these days I kind of agree to some extent with a few of them, but in general, they're not. Notably, the latest Russian meddling indictment is not being handled by Mueller's team. Instead, federal prosecutors in Alexandria, Virginia will tackle the case, an apparent signal to the President Donald Trump that Mueller's investigation won't become an open-ended probe continuing through the 2018 election or beyond. Well, it could also be the fact that you got people fed up with Mueller in the Justice Department with dragging this shit out and not finding anything. While U.S. authorities have painted the Russian efforts in the 2016 election as aimed, at least eventually, at electing Trump president, the complaint against Koyashinshnova suggests a campaign of disruption and political troublemaking without any particular political bent. And here's the thing. This idea that it at least eventually went to going getting Trump elected is a false narrative. It is complete fucking bullshit. This is something that the left has cooked up to try to justify his getting elected and their friggin' bitch Hillary not getting her what she considered entitlement. Get things straight. This is why outlets like Politico fall under that category of fake news more often than not. Because you put in this feels over reals bullshit like that has absolutely no basis in fact. I mean, this is fucked up. The conspirators' activities did not exclusively adopt one ideological viewpoint. They wrote on topics from varied and sometimes opposing perspectives. FBI Special Agent David Holt wrote in the complaint, which was signed by a magistrate judge in September. So basically, they're trolling all fucking sides, and somehow this is influencing. This is meddling. Pissing off everyone. To me, that's fucking trolling. Okay? It's like the idea of A fucking bored 14-year-old. Well, before the precious snowflake fucking phase of society. I mean, Jesus Christ. The FBI agent went to great pains to describe efforts by Krishyanova, I'm probably getting better now on saying that name, and others working for Russian firms to appeal to Americans at both ends of the political spectrum, as well as ethnic, racial, and sexual orientations. Yeah, so they're trolling everyone. I don't see how that's meddling. You're pissing off everyone. That's trolling. According to the complaint, an unnamed member of the conspiracy advised, if you write a post in a liberal group, you must not use Breitbart titles. On the contrary, if you write a post in a conservative group, do not use Washington Post or BuzzFeed titles. Actually, this is where I call bullshit. And this might not be, the case of what they're trying to claim. Because if you want to trigger a liberal, well, someone on the left, go, look what Breitbart's saying. And then they spurg the fuck out. If you want to get someone worked up, because they don't tend to spurg right of the, where the line drawn between the left and right does these days. They don't tend to spurg out on the other side of that line, on the right side of it. I mean, they get worked up. You want to get them worked up, you show a Washington Shitpost article. Or a New York Times article. BuzzFeed. Because they're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. No, that's bullshit. Actually, this is that. This is a misrepresentation. And they go through it and they get worked up. Because they see the shit being flung from those fake news outlets. Like the Shitpost and BuzzFeed. The tactics allegedly used by the Russians demonstrate a degree of sophistication coupled with crude stereotyping. There is no fucking sophistication to this. This is shit that a 12-year-old could figure out, but yet it's supposedly sophisticated. This just goes to show the narrative that Politico's trying to push with this. They are seriously setting the stage for the idea of, if the Republicans keep the House or they gain seats or whatever, of pushing this, oh, well, Russians, they did it. They caused influence, blah, 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 blah. They're seriously setting that shit up. Colored LGBT are less sophisticated than white. Therefore, complicated phrases and messages do not work. Be careful dealing with racial content. Just like ordinary blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, colored LGBT people are very sensitive towards white privilege. Read translated Russian language instructions to the social media team members, according to the FBI. Yeah, I don't necessarily find anything wrong with what they said there, or it backing up the fact of what they're trying to push for a narrative. Because the thing is any company that deals with social media, they're going to have, I mean, especially outside the U.S., it'll be politically, and say Western Europe, it's going to be less politically correct, like this. And what they're talking about is, telling you, hey, be careful with these things. These people are very sensitive to white privilege. This doesn't necessarily back the narrative because of that. Because if you've got a social media company or a company that uses social media, like I said, they have guidelines like these to make sure that you don't trigger or piss off the wrong fucking people. Maybe they're using this to piss off and trigger the wrong fucking people. Who knows? If this is true. Because there's no proof, but yet you're talking like this is a done deal, but then here you go and you're like, the complaint alleges the effort targeting the 2018 election is part of a broader campaign dubbed Project Lakta, which authorities say dates to 2014 or earlier. The St. Petersburg-based internet research agency and Concord Management and Consulting are said to be at the center of the political interference drive. Well, this has been going on since when Obama was in office. Yet now, we're supposed to be all freaked out about it. This is now all of a sudden a big deal. And the only reason why I can see now that being, now it being that way is because the midterms are coming up. Democrats are freaking out. The deep state is freaking out. The neocons are freaking out. Because, they're just the opposite side of the same coin with the left. They're not true Republicans. And they're seeing the fact of things changing politically. And they don't want that. You've literally got, well, this is linked to this is linked to this. This guy happens to know him, and because he knows him, and it's Putin. This is some fucked up shit here. How they link this supposedly to Putin. The firms are linked to Yevgeny, fuck it. I'll just call him Yev Prigozhin, a Russian businessman and restaurateur known as President Vladimir Putin's chef. Because he's a restaurateur that knows Putin, and he's supposedly got these links. Oh, we've got the smoking gun that Putin's behind this shit. At least, through implication they're doing the Putin part. Prigozhin was charged as a defendant in a criminal case filed in February, but is not charged or mentioned by name in the complaint unsealed Friday. While no Mueller prosecutors are listed on the new case, the complaint does include mentions of the investigation. The FBI says the Russians went after the special counsel probe, and some of their social media posts intended to polarize Americans. Different messages either supported or criticized the investigation. Now, what gets me is there's no proof that these fucking accounts are Russian accounts. Okay? Twitter labeled all these accounts that were like legitimate fucking people as Russian bots and shut them down already. And they referred to some of these accounts that supposedly were Russian bot accounts or Russian accounts that, for all intents and purposes, probably weren't. Look at this tweet here. Dear real Donald Trump, the DOJ indicated 13 Russian nationals at the Internet Research Agency indicted. Why? Wow. They didn't even spell it right. Or it doesn't look right on my screen. No, it's spelled right. I'm sorry. The DOJ indicted 13 Russian nationals at the Internet Research Agency for violating federal criminal law to help your campaign and hurt other campaigns. Still think this Russia thing is a hoax and a witch hunt? Because a lot of witches just got indicted. One Twitter account linked to the Russian campaign retweeted earlier this year, according to the complaint. All right. I'd like to see proof that it's a Russian account. These are just assumptions. Oh, well, this is a Russian account. Well, where's your fucking proof? There's no proof of this. Now, here's another one. Trump says he will meet with Kim Jong-un in May, but he might not even be president by then. Mueller is coming. Another liberal-oriented account allegedly controlled by the Russian group wrote. Yeah, exactly. But that's stereotypical fucking Spurgus left fucking shit that would be said. So, how is there any proof that this is a bot? I wouldn't be surprised if that's a legitimate account. However, another account involved with Russian effort took a very different view of the complaint says. Now, this is what's fucked up. Because I'm honestly thinking this is a legitimate account, because that doesn't, I don't know. Russians indicted today. 13 illegal immigrants crossing Mexican border indicted today. Russians indicted today, 13, because there's no punctuation, I apologize. Illegal immigrants crossing Mexican border indicted today, 0. Anyway, I hope all those Internet Research Agency fuckers will be sent to Gitmo. Someone with the Twitter handle @JohnCopper16 wrote, "We didn't vote for Trump because of a couple of hashtags shilled by the Russians." Well, no fucking shit. To me, that sounds like a legitimate account that's fed up with your fucking Russian narrative bullshit. But, we're going to label it as a Russian account. Wow. They're so desperate. To me, that's a legit account. I could be wrong, but my gut's telling me that's a legit account. And they're so desperate that they're going to label a legit account as a fucking fake one, as a Russian one. The Gitmo tweet was also included in a trove of 10 million tweets that Twitter released earlier this week as part of an effort to reveal the full scope of foreign influence operations on the social media platform. So, okay, yeah. So supposedly, and this is, according to Twitter, these are Russian fucking tweets. Where's their fucking proof? They've literally labeled a shit ton of legitimate users as Russians, Russian bots, sock accounts, all this other bullshit. So, I mean, you literally don't have much to stand on with this when you're using the same company that labeled these accounts that were legit as Russian as like your source for them. And they're being Russian. It doesn't work like that. This is some fucked up shit. The charge against Kusyayanova carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison. However, the case is considered part of what some officials call a name and shame approach, focused on publicizing and deterring such efforts, but recognizing that the defendants are unlikely to ever appear in a U.S. courtroom. Well, also, where's the actual proof? I mean, from what we've seen here, there isn't shit for proof that this guy is supposedly interfering or anything like that. It's trolling. So, are they going to label me, a fucking agent, some bullshit, because I'm out here and, probably getting some people with certain things, giving them information, getting them worked up? Are they going to try to label me as a Russian next? I mean, hell, these are the same people that tried to label Sarkuk the fuckwit as a Russian agent. I mean, well, not politicos particularly, but the left. I mean, he's a fuckwit, but he ain't no Russian. Mueller's team apparently had similar thinking about the indictment it obtained in February against two conquered entities, the Internet Research Agency, Prigozhin, and a slew of other Russians. However, one of the conquered firms retained U.S. lawyers and is fighting the charges. Good! Because odds are they're going to fight this shit, and it's going to come out that Mueller's been blowing smoke up people's asses. And again, with this, it'll probably be the same fucking thing. Because there's absolutely no actual proof that Russia interfered, meddled, however you want to look at it, by Facebook ads and social media posts that were put up after the election in 2016. If people are buying into tweets and shit like that at face value, without checking the information, without, say, checking the link in it, that's their own fucking problem. That's not even, and that's still not meddling or interfering. That's just sheer fucking stupidity. It really is. So, anyways, I mean, as you can see, they are trying to build the narrative of Russian interference, Russian hacking. I mean, because if you look, the White House is talking about China and Iran as well. But the focus is on Russia. Because Russia's the whooping boy. Russia's the scapegoat these days. When it comes to the whole interference, meddling, hacking, fucking narrative. They're the boogeyman. So, anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.